Hey, shalom, shalom. Yeah. We live right up. Hey, shalom. How about Shimmy Hashar Thumb? To you brothers out there, shalom. How about Shema Thumb? But Shimmy Hashar. To you sisters out there with the ISUPK coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I'm Officer Apayat out here in Arizona. I'm saying that's Phoenix, Arizona. We're holding class at 124 16 North 28 Drive. That's 12416 North 28 Drive. Classes from Tuesday to Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And classes on Saturday, the Sabbath service would be from 10 a.m. to noon. Today's class, you're going to go over uh, the key into getting into heaven. Then going to be the key to get today's class is going to be the key to getting to heaven / what is the point of life? I'm saying, what are we made for? You know, a lot of brothers and sisters is under the impression that they're made to, like Floyd Mayweather said he's made to box. I'm saying the brother said it's obviously I was put on this earth to box. I hear rappers say, well, ever since I started rapping, everything's been going good in my life. I'm saying, and all this money I have that I'm able to now afford to put my mother in a house. Obviously, I was made to rap. You have some brothers say that are MMA fighters. Give me some other ones. That are teachers, doctors, right? Scientists, lawyers, brothers that's in Congress, whether them being a judge. They say obviously they look at the success in their life today, right? And say, well, obviously I'm made to be doing this. This is what brought me all the success I've had in life. So basically they equate success to worth. I'm saying, meaning if you have no money, you're not worth anything here in America. I'm saying, and with those brothers, with them now coming into a little bit of wealth, well, as they say, it was obvious I've been made to do this. I'm saying, yes, something you want to say? I'm saying we're gonna start off with Ezekiel. Give me Ezekiel 12 up. Ezekiel 12 and 13. Ezekiel chapter 12 and 13. And Parakio, Proverbs from Proverbs. Proverbs 21 and 21. Wait up.
Ezekiel.
No, something Salakia. Ecclesiastes. Salakia. Not Ezekiel. Ecclesiastes. Did I say Ezekiel?
Yeah, you said Ezekiel.
Oh, yeah. Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 13.
And 13, con. And Proverbs, and what did I say for the second one? Proverbs 21 and 21. Yeah. Right? So once again, we're going to deal with what is the point of life? I'm saying, what are you made? What are you brought in this earth for? This is all you Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. You know what I'm saying? That's lucky. A lot of sisters too. You have sisters that strip up and they tell you, well, obviously I'm made to be doing this. Look at all the money I'm making. All right? Yeah, that sister, what's her name? Well, she's not a sister. Came out, she's not, what's her name? Cardi? Because Cardi B's not a sister, isn't she? Is?
From what I heard.
Yeah, I don't think she is. Yeah, I think her dad, yeah, because she come from like the islands of like, yeah. Her mother's Puerto Rican, her dad is East Indian. So Cardi B is basically just like the other devil. What's her name? The one that's come in all the movies. She loud and she act ghetto. What's her name? The comedian. Man, if you're out there, you might know her name. Anybody? If Razan online?
It don't tell you who's watching.
Okay, fine. I'm saying if Razan is there, type if you know that sister's name, Razan. Then our brother might know. Or that devil's name. But she, right? She says, well, I was raped as a kid. My parents left me. My daddy left me rather. That left her and her mother. I'm saying they came up rough. As I started stripping, like I started making all this money and men gave me attention and I started becoming something in life. So much so, she was able to start a rap career based off stripping. So surely she was made to strip. Stripping helped her get to the position that she's in today. I'm saying her being a rapper. I'm saying stripping helped her get to that success. So like I said before, they equate money, success to worth. I'm saying what their value is in life.
Like, or like if I could, like their goals too, like whatever gets them. Some people say, figure to make it, like whatever gets you, up there, that's really, what you're like, what you're gonna. Like for instance, what's his name, Takashi.
Right.
Like
6ix9ine, Takashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah, he was in no gangster, but he made it. He created that image.
Right.
So many people create an image to who they are, and that's not who they really are.
Right. And that image, as the brothers say, is so heavy. He's talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine and creating an image. How do we know he created an image? It's obvious. I'm saying before the rap and before he got down with those brothers down in Brooklyn where he was at, those Bloods, he was for the story was he was a good kid, huh? I'm saying Tekashi 6ix9ine is a brother. He's an Israelite, right? He was a good kid, a really good kid. So much so they saying that if you notice the pictures of him before, he had no tattoos. You know what I'm saying? He carried himself like what people classify today as a nerd. Not there's anything wrong with that. Be honest with you, going back, I wish I would have been a nerd. You know what I'm saying? Shit. I'm only saying that just because a nerd is a lot better than what we have become. I'm saying all the brothers that come in ISUPK, but we know that we won't change nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because most in Christ are in here. But back to Tekashi, so he had no tattoos. It seemed like a good, wholesome kid, and all of a sudden he started rapping. And as the brothers say, they created an image for him, right? And that image it preceded him. So much so today he sold out a lot of his friends that helped him get to that place, to that success, right? And have to pack up his mother and family and run away from the neighborhood he came from. So, but today, if you ask him if he was made to rap, he would look you in the eyes and tell you, yes, he was made to rap. Because why? Once again, they equate success, I'm saying, in life, money, as to worth, right? So give me that up.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments.
Let's do what?
Fear God and keep his commandments.
So what's the point of life?
Fear God and keep his commandments.
Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, right? Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. That's the whole point of life. That's what you were made for. That's what you were born into this earth for. You were born to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of God. That is the only way. I'm saying that it is the absolute only way. How do you know it's your only way? Let me give you an example. All these brothers that we've been talking about, use them as an example. Use give me that one brother. His name is Casanova. If anyone know Casanova, that rapper, right? So Casanova is sitting up in Rikers Island right now for I think they say he's sitting up for drug distribution and with narcotics, and the other charge, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this. The other one was something to do with what is it called when they not bootlegging, where they basically back then the mob used to get men to pay, or people in the neighborhood, businesses in the neighborhood to pay them money, extortion, right? So he's in prison for those things and a bunch of other charges. Now, once again, with him being in prison, right, and the lifestyle like he was living, don't forget he's a rapper, right? And the lifestyle like he was living in the dark, he will still tell you today that he was made to be a rapper. Why? Because of the success, the money that came from rapping. No different than a sicario from Mexico or from Colombia, or a gangster out of Chicago, or I'm saying LA, or come from the islands of Barbados, you know what I'm saying, or Trinidad, they will tell you that they were made to be a drug dealer. They're made to do that. The reason why he would tell you that he was made to be a rapper, being Casanova, the reason why he would tell you that, even though that being a rapper is what exposed a lot of the things that he was doing in the dark. Because if he wasn't a rapper, they wouldn't have been paying attention to him that much. Huh? Don't forget, he was brought down by what they call a hip-hop police, meaning hip-hop, him being a rapper, is what exposed a lot of the underhanded things that he was doing in the criminal world, right? So even with that, he'll still tell you that he was made to be a rapper. Why? Because they equate success to be with money, right? All these brothers have the same thing in common. Look at Mayweather I brought up, right? Mayweather tell you that he was made to be a boxer. Why? Because he was able to afford anything he wanted in life from boxing, right? Boxing afforded him that wealth. Now, Mayweather in boxing and the wealth that he have gotten, his daughter is facing how many years? Anybody know how much years Mayweather's daughter is facing? Mayweather's daughter is facing conspiracy to murder. If anyone know anything about conspiracy, right? If you out in the streets, they tell you that conspiracy to murder is the worst thing you want to go down for. Why? Because how the system in America is set up is a conspiracy, they give you 77 years, 80 years, 90 years, right? But for murder, they give you 25. How? That's something for you to take up to the United States government. But so his daughter attempted to kill a woman, I'm saying, who her baby father was with. You know, her baby father is that rapper that everyone liked, the NBA. I'm saying, young boy. So she almost stabbed this young girl to death. Ask Mayweather today if he would choose an alternate lifestyle where he wasn't a boxer and let's live a normal life and go to work every day, where he'd be able to have all his kids, if he would trade that for his daughter's life, meaning that success. All these men have the same thing in common, that wealth. That wealth, as good as well as me, like they would not turn that down for nothing, even though they're a father, right? He's a father. For me being a father, and I have a daughter, like that's something tough to even say. A man can even look at it like that. But as the Most High said in the Bible, that it's easier for I ask, it could go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go into the kingdom of heaven. Why? That rich, that's a heavy demon. They would not give that up. Right? So read it again for me, y'all.
Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of a man.
This is the what?
This is the whole duty of man.
The whole duty of what?
Of man.
Of Mayweather, right? Of who?
Of man.
Of each and every Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. This was the duty of Tekashi 6ix9ine. This was the duty. I heard I touched on Instagram today. My brother died, man. From LA. What's his name?
Oh, Slim 400.
That's his name, right? That's that brother that was. I guess he is familiar with that one rapper, YG. You know that song called "My Nigga," right? Right, that song right there. I like. I'm saying that brother right there that sing it. One of his good friends, right, was just killed. Now, that was the whole point of life for him, man. It's not to be a gangbanger, man. The whole point of life for those brothers in Sonora, I'm saying, those brothers in Michoacan, those brothers in Culiacan, I'm saying Mexico City, I'm saying the brothers down in Medellin, I'm saying in Colombia, down in Peru. The point of life is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. The point of life is for those brothers to get out of the Catholic Church and stop idol worshiping. That is the point of life. And because they're not keeping those law, statutes, and commandments, they have to be put to death. Contrary to who? To the other heathens, the ones that's not Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, because they can do those things and they don't get punished for it, right? but we do them when we die. Let me give you an example in a minute. Go ahead and read what you got for me, Pro.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and verse 21. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life.
He that what?
He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor.
That telling you, if you're out there, you got to read Proverbs. I know some brothers say Psalms. I have to tap into Psalms some more too. And in fact, I was reading some of Psalms out, and Psalms walk you through it out. I see what brothers like about Psalms. Psalms kind of hold your hand and walk you through it. You know what I'm saying? Proverbs 21 and 21. I'm saying being a righteous man. What is it? First off, what's righteous? I'm saying if you're out there, go look it up. I'm saying type in the word righteous. In fact, I'm gonna get the definition right now. I'm gonna get the Google definition. I know by word. It's all right, I got it up. And in fact, yeah, go ahead and you get it up so you can read it on. No, I think I got a microphone right here too, right? This don't work right here? Okay.
The definition for the word righteous: of a person or conduct morally right or justifiable, virtuous. Second definition.
Go ahead.
The second definition is informal. It says very good or excellent.
Very good or what?
Excellent.
Very good or what?
Excellent.
Very good or excellent. I was reading watching one of General Muhammad's class, man. You know, it's something that we get caught up in life, because we go through what we go through, and the upbringing that many of us have had in our life that we forget is the primary principle that we've been taught as a child, and that is righteous, man. Be a good person. In today's life, I noticed that very, very vast majority of men and women who walk in this earth do not believe in that concept at all. We live in a very vicious world, a very, very vicious world. I heard General Muhammad's class. He was speaking, very righteous brother, right? He was speaking on, and the brother brought it up yesterday when he said, if he saw a white person, everyone know us in the ISUPK that we believe that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Every white man, woman, and child is the devil the Bible speaks of. This brother said, I'm saying when he was teaching his class, he said that if he was to see a white man or old white man or whoever it is, someone in a wheelchair need help across the street, he will help them across the street. Why does he do that? Because that is just the right thing to do. That's a good person. Right? That is a good person. The brother said, if I have a white waitress, right, or a white waiter, I would tip. I'll sit here and admit it to you. That's something that until he said it, I did not believe in that. Till he broke it down to me, I did not believe in it. I was like, why would I take my money to give to them? But it has nothing to do with just me and them. You ever heard of saying coming up in the Christian church? Well, they're famous for saying, this world is famous for saying, well, it's not about what they do to you, it's about what you do to them. You ever heard that saying? No. It's not about what they do to you, it's what you do to them. Nobody exercised that, not even in the church. Absolutely no mercy for each other. Those same church people would sit on that bus coming back from church. Do you mind? I'm saying, I mind you, coming back from church, they'll be sitting on that bus while old lady struggling to stand. You know, the bus moves in, they're struggling to stand. An old man struggling to stand, a pregnant woman standing there. And they would watch they would have that pregnant woman stand there the whole time while they sit up. That is a fact. This is a very cruel world we live in. And for you to be a righteous person, for you to be a person that's upright and just do what is right, that is very rare in this world. To hear a man who I hold a high regard say something like that up, I'm saying, when I heard him say that, my rib is my witness. You can take my word for my witness. Ever since then, I've tipped every time. every single time. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. It really is the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? You see someone, whether it be an Asian man coming up, you walking through that door, you see him coming up after you, and you've seen him coming up after you out, don't be an asshole out unless let the door shut. Give a little nod and be a good person, man. Be a kind person.
Right.
Remember, I was not born during slavery. Right? I wasn't born during slavery. My father wasn't born during slavery. Right? In fact, I'm here to tell you, and I said this before, like a white person have never not done me any harm. Yes, a white person have never physically harmed me up. Right? But even with that, I'm in ISUPK and I'm saying that these people, God is against these people, right? And God is anti these people and hate these people for the unrighteousness that they're doing. How does it look now if I'm doing the same thing they're doing? Imagine that. I'm doing the same thing they're doing. Then on that day of judgment, they have every justification to say, well, sir, these people who you say are your people, if they were in the position that we were in, they would treat us the same way we have treated them. Of course, Christ would not then be able to say, well, you're wrong. Why? Because look how we're treating them and we're not in power. Right? Imagine if we get a little power, how would we treat them? You want to be a righteous person, man. Person that is upright.
Right.
And the Most High sees that, right? Read that again for me, Barak.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 21.
Give me James. James 1 and 22.
He
In
that-
fact, Slakia. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 21. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor.
Life, righteousness, and honor. That is an honorable thing. Go ahead up.
So Laki, what's heavy about this is a lot of the examples that you brought up, right? Honor is something so many people don't have. Like 6ix9ine, he seeks a rap career. He's not seeking after righteousness, so now he has no honor.
Right.
I'm saying nobody respects 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? But also it says that you'll find life. We just saw Slim 400 die. You know what I'm saying? He was murdered because he wasn't seeking righteousness. He was seeking a rap career, a gangbang.
Right.
So he found something else. He found the opposite. So
you ever heard a saying that they say you go knocking on the devil's door long enough and someone answer you? Like I'll say this, man. There's two things that are never been in the streets, right? In the streets, when it comes to gangbanging and killing and murder, first off, there's never been any killing without killing. I repeat it again. There's never been any killing without killing. Take your biggest bully, your most feared men in the past. They all had short life. Repeat it again. Take your biggest bully or your mighty men in those streets, as many people have proclaimed, they have all seen short life. In life, you kill what you fear when you're in that life. So if you want to go be someone that's feared, just know there's someone waiting to kill you. So whether you're a Slim 400 living in the ghetto, shooting guns in stores, running around, and you're a blood or whatnot, there's someone there waiting for you. That is a promise of life. If you do wicked in life, wicked things will happen to you. That is a promise from the Most High. There's no getting around that. Another thing that you're going to find in that life, and that is what? Everybody, if you're living that life, running around, shooting and stabbing, and you're guaranteed to die or go to prison. I'm saying either you're gonna be shot, you're gonna be stabbed, you're gonna go to prison, or you're gonna die. If you've not been shot, you haven't gone no prison. Obviously, you're living, so you ain't dead. You didn't live that life in real life. And that's something that brother, that 6ix9ine brother, that Parak just mentioned, that's something that he's struggling with. and he struggled with heavy. You could see it on him. He wanted to live a life that it's not even, to be honest, that is so dishonorable. Everyone that have lived that life will tell you that is so dishonorable. You mean to tell me you want to wake up every day and want to live a destructive life? Do you know what that do to you? A lot of these broads, them coming to your office, a lot of these broads today talk about spirit. I'm saying I don't want to dwell around a certain spirit. I don't want that spirit around me. Imagine having the spirit on you where you are just destructive every day. Who's going to want to be around you? Your children are not going to want to be around you. Your own family not going to want to be around you. Imagine living that life. Every time you come around, there's a spirit on you. People cannot get along with you. You kill. You're destructive. You're argumentative. You're loud. A lot of brothers out there, sisters like this. A lot of sisters out there, brothers like this. It's not something you want. That's something to be honorable. Go ahead, up.
So I was trying to look for it.
Come on, I'm saying you go ahead and look for it. I'm gonna keep talking now. That's not something that you want to be. You don't want to live a life like that, man. Like I said before, imagine what that do to your spirit. And if you're somebody struggling with it, I'm saying the best thing to do is first off, just like we're gonna take it step by step. The first thing with a person with any problem is first you have to acknowledge that problem. You have to look that man in the mirror. You have to acknowledge that problem. A lot of these men who have met their demise, they refuse to look themselves in the mirror, man. Right? And accept that. Like, I'm destructive. I shoot at people. I sell people drugs. I'm a problem for my neighborhood. Go ahead, up.
It's like I was just gonna say, it's what you're saying is so heavy because the people that really live that life,
Right.
they're ashamed of it. Like they're ashamed of it, but you see cats pretending to live that life
Right.
and they bragging about it and boasting about it. Like a lot of these cats that live that life, they're ashamed to even think about it, much less talk about it and glorify it. It's like
I'll say this up. And I think the Most High, I didn't go too deep into that life. I'll say this. For the time, because I was born around men into that life, and I'll say this. On the time until coming into the truth, when you do certain things, here's what a lot of people that desire to live that life do not understand. There's a certain demon that comes with that life. You see all these rappers talking about killing and shooting and selling drugs and all that. I want you to put yourself in this scenario. Imagine you're running around with your crew, and to put you on, they have you rape. They have you rape, like you have to go pick someone to rape, right? Random woman to rape. And one day y'all driving, y'all pick a woman to rape, and the woman that y'all rape was your own mother or your own sister, whoever, right? We all know. I'm bringing this scenario because this is off of that song by Immortal Technique, right? Where he was talking about that, right? Now imagine that. Now imagine you do something like that, and the person who you done that to that's their mother, right? You're supposed to be their cousin. So I mean, you just raped your auntie. Imagine how, if you love your brother, imagine how he feel. Imagine the demon that comes on you, and to walk around with that guilt. Now imagine your cousin find out about it, right? And you have to run from him for the rest of your life because you know what type of man he is. You know how he moves. Now, put yourself in this scenario. Imagine you run around, you selling drugs, and you sell drugs to a woman that was pregnant. And the person that you sell the drugs to, the pregnant woman, she in fact happened to be your uncle's woman that you didn't know about, or your father's woman that you didn't know about. You sell her drugs and the baby died. Now, if you somebody that can deal with all that up, then most I be with you. If you're somebody that can stalk somebody outside of their house, wait till they come out, shoot them in their head, and run off before they even drop, and go home, take a shower, and go to your bed, and then do this day in, day out. If you're someone that can do that, then the Most High be with you. Because that's the kind of lifestyle that you're glorifying. When there's nothing to be glorified about it. There's absolutely nothing to be. You ever saw the family member of somebody you killed? And you see the pain in their face? That's the other day they show a photo, and it was of that rapper that died, Young Dolph. And they showed a picture of his friends, and he showed his little son's face. His little son's about 8, 7, 8. The pain in that kid's eyes. The pain in that little boy's eyes. If you can go and look it up. The pain in that little man's eyes. I saw the photo, I couldn't even look at it. I had to grind my teeth. I couldn't even look at it. Now, if you're someone that can live with that in your conscience, then Most High be with you. I'm not. I can't live with none of that in my conscience. And truthfully, those stories I just say, those incidents I know of, I ain't did none of that. Right? Those are things that I came up around, I knew of. You know what I'm saying? I've been the first to tell you, those stories I can go on and on and on about. Because I was related to the killers. And I came up, I ran around, went on rides, and I was up close and I seen. And the first thing I'll tell you is this, and most importantly, all those men that were on that either met their demise, or all of them, every last one of them. But I said maybe one I knew of. They all had to take some type of drugs to keep themselves. Basically, they were on drugs just to live. See all these brothers is popping and all that? Because you're not a real killer, man. Give me what you got out.
Con, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 18. Says, woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a carved rope, meaning woe, meaning destruction unto them that brag, when you pull, right, that draw cords of iniquity, that draw iniquity, right, which is sin, right, with cords of vanity, meaning they boast about what they do.
Right.
Right. They they say like having look at how many bodies I have, like the body count that they have, it's like it's something to brag about.
I'm gonna show you one right now. Keep talking for me. I'm gonna show you one right now.
But it's like something to brag about, like it's some a badge of honor, as as they think that that is right, a badge of honor. How many murders they have murdered, and they've gone away with it,
right,
and beat the case too,
right,
and beat the case, like you hear about brothers talking about how even take care, he say what I didn't beat the case, so I did the race, so it's like it's stuff like that where brothers they know they committed the crime, right, and they know they can get away with it. And it's something like they draw to that, and it's like that's their life, and they boast about it. So it's like it's kind of the same thing like as you're saying, right? It's like,
no, what you say is so heavy, y'all. It's so heavy. What I want to do is I want to take this time to show you exactly how in the ISUPK, how we truly raise prophets. You know what I'm saying that's this brother is priest and prophet of Matazai. I want to have you listen to something right now. I'm going to put on, and this is to touch on what the brother just said. You know what I'm saying, touch on what the brother just saying. I'm gonna play something right here, and you tell me if that's not a prophet what the brother just said. But before I do that, Parak, if you cannot, one of you brothers get me Deuteronomy 6:24. In fact, give me James 1:22. James 1:22. Whenever you're ready.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man holding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth the manner of man he was. But whosoever looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
Right. Hold on up. So the brother just brought out, he says how those men, how they brag, right? How they brag on. I want to show you the difference between us being Israelites and the wicked on the earth. I'm gonna play this. This comes from Vlad TV. This was a ex-mafia. His name was John Alite. If anyone knows who John Alite is, he worked for the Gambino family under John Gotti. So he's on John Gotti and them hitmen, right?
Problem, someone owes you money, someone did you do, there's no
Why
more
don't
time.
you listen to this?
I'm going to send somebody to see you and say, you just beat me last week. Now you, and then he comes up empty. I send somebody who tell him, listen, you're a good guy. You've been gambling with me a long time. How much could you level and what happened? Chime in and say this. I can go on with names, and I didn't talk about a lot of these names like Frankie Geeky that we killed. I was involved in that conspiracy, or Louis DeBono was involved in that conspiracy, or
Alone in this, if you go listen to this interview alone, he talked about casually how he killed within the span of 6 minutes. He give a list and how he can detail up to how the eyes popped out and how the brain splattered, how he killed about 50 people easily. He spoke on it easily. He killed about 50 people, non-casual. And there's something I noticed too about a lot of you ever heard of saying, oh, they said the eyes are the key to the soul? Well, not the eyes are the key to the soul, right? There's something I noticed with killers, like real killers, a lot of them they wear a lot of shades, believe it or not. Like this is something that I've from when I was a kid came up the ones that I know of that kill, like they wear a lot of shade, like they, especially when they're talking, doing something like this, it's like a comfort. You ever see like when a person get like the comfort zone or put on like a coat, when they're cold and put on a coat to warm up? It's like that. I want you to hear it. This is a prophet.
I shot him several times. I mean, I could go with names. I could keep going with guys I killed. Well, Frankie Burke and me killed 2 guys in Brooklyn. So, I mean, that list can go on and on and on because this is what I did for, a good 30 years. Probably better than that.
Well, I actually wrote down a bunch of
Anthony and Albert Ruggiano and the father as a kid. I could chime in and say, well, I think we should do this, and he'll listen. I mean, it depends on who I was talking to, if they even want to let me talk at the time when I'm younger. As I get older, I start making my own decisions.
Well, you did the interview with Valuetainment,
but I didn't understand it was a snowstorm. So when I shot him, he laid in the snow, saved his life because it was about 2 foot of snow at that time. I caught him in a snowstorm, and I also was going to cut his throat in front of a house across the street. A sanitation worker came out screaming.
You can hear.
I pointed a gun.
More important than him, when I meant like you watch the interview, literally, you had people in the comments that was saying after about a good 3 minutes, they're like, what the fuck? How's he still walking? How is he still out in the streets walking? This man have killed. He just give a list of killing 50 people at least. Not to mention the ones that he didn't go down for, but the American justice system. I'm saying, they say they kill us and hold himself not guilty, right? Hold himself not guilty. How you can just cut a deal and then all is forgiven. In the land of Israel, there should be no deal that's cut, man. You can't cut a deal with Christ and get away with something like that.
That's right.
I'm saying what the brother's saying is so heavy. Men like true men like this, because this is a devil. This is a so-called white man, Albion. What's the Alberian or something like that? Algerian. That's what it is. One of them. You know what I'm saying? His ancestors come from over there, right? Talk about, if you go look at him, his name is John A. Light. Go look him on Vlad TV. You listen to that. After about, I never forget while I was sitting there watching the interview up, and I remember, like I blanked out. When I came back up, he was still talking about those he killed up. So what this brother is saying is absolutely true, man. It's absolutely true. This is something in this world that we have developed up where there's absolutely no remorse, no empathy for anyone. Everything is gimme. You want something, take it. I'm saying attack. Like, we all have to do things in moderation. There's a time for everything, right? We know there's a time for war, time for love, I'm saying time for peace. We understand that. But it's the only thing that breeds here in America is wickedness. That's it. That is absolutely the only, like right now, out there in the streets right now, somebody could be laying out in the streets, right? The traffic is coming, and could be a woman hurt, and she crawling, trying to get out of the streets before the traffic comes. And everyone, before they run over there and try to help her, they'll get their phone out. Tell me when I'm lying, man. They would get their phone out instead of running to her aid and helping her. She could be screaming. They get their phone out and say, damn. Most you get is a damn. Somebody help her, man. Help her, man. Like, why don't you help her?
Right.
There's absolutely no love in this earth, man. There's no love in this earth. And we all believe that we've been made for our own selfish gain. Meaning, if it doesn't gain us something, then it has absolutely no worth to it. That's something that being under this captivity, being here in America, that have taught us. The so-called white man have taught us that you should not love each other, man. That a Mexican can't love a black man. A black man cannot love a Native American Indian, nor a Native American Indian can love a Mexican. Or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? America have taught us these things. America have taught a woman, girl, if he has no money, he cannot get you certain things. There's no need for him. You have no need for a man where you could buy yourself this, get yourself that. We need a man for. Hell, if I want what he got between his legs, I can go buy that in the store. Hear a lot of women say that. Right? And hear a lot of them say what? Bigger and better too. So America have taught us these things.
Right.
Being in this captivity has made us absolutely wicked, man. This is a wicked world we live in. That is blacks, Hispanics, Native, that is Asians. You know what I'm saying? That is the so-called white man, Esau. That is the Hamites being Africans. Everybody walking this earth. This is a wicked place that we live in, man. And very few is even righteous. If even that, very small few. Because only one can call himself righteous, right? We know, right? But wickedness breed this place, man.
Right.
You got something you want to say, Salakia?
That's
That's it. Give me Deuteronomy. In fact, give me Psalms 1:11 and 10. And Proc, if you cannot, give me Psalms 119 and 96.
1:11 and 10.
Come on.
Chapter 1.
Psalms 1:11, verse 10. Or yes. Psalms chapter 1:11 and start at 10.
Book of Psalms, chapter 1:11, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The what?
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What is the one thing that all men and women are fighting for? If it's nothing more, what is the one thing that the average man will fight to the death for? Even the weakest of man. You take the biggest, strongest of man coming here right now, right? And take the weakest man. We have no weak men in here, so I can't. That's a bad example. Take the weakest man out there. Take the strongest man and have him go up to him. What's the one thing that strong man will fight for?
His courage.
His life. Right? He will fight for his life. Read it again.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Why do I say that? Because the one thing we fear, the average man fear, is losing their life. 8 out of 10 men easily. I said 9 out of 10 men easily is afraid to fear of losing their life. How do I know? Ask me.
Well, because of their actions, and really what they be saying.
Actions is right. Saying not so much, but actions is absolutely correct. How do you know? Take the toughest man, right? Put him in that water. How that water start to come up to his neck. Or have him start to fight to. He's drowning, right? He will fight to death for what? His life. A man coming to your house in the middle of the night, and that strong man get up to go meet that man. The man have a gun on him, and they're tussling and fighting for the gun. Why is the strong man fighting for the gun? For his life and everyone's life in his house. Huh? If I don't care how weak he is. You ever heard of saying you don't want to back a dog into a corner? I never forget. I learned that the hard way. There was a little dog, man. Quick story. This little dog that my family had coming up. I was hard in that dog. Little Chihuahua, man. Hard in that dog, right? He used to see me run. I was a bullied dog. Like, see me just take off running up. Truthfully, see me run. One day, he had the room door was locked. When he ran, he was trapped between the stair, the wall, and I was standing in front of the stair, and then the door was closed. And he's cuddled up, and he's trying to submit. You know, he put his head down, like, you know, a dog submit to you, right? Me being the bully trying to bully this dog. I'm coming up to him like, he's scared, right? Scared shitless. I come about, I'll say a good, I got down on my knees and I was about a good 2 feet away from him, from about here to the edge of that. Guess what he did?
Boy, you bitch, or you try to attack.
He summed up his strength and fight. Jumped up, started biting at me. I was like, damn. Ask me if I mess with him again. No. I'm saying I let them on. I was scared. Like, go ahead. You fight back. I'll give you that. I'm saying I respect somebody that fight. I'm saying I don't say that to say I don't care the weakest man. I take the weakest man to face this earth. One thing he'll fight for is his life. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. I only say that to say if you want to preserve your life, I'm saying, read it again.
Come. Slide. Book of Psalms, chapter 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Go ahead.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandment.
All they that do is what?
His commandments.
His commandments, man. That's how you preserve your life. That's the whole meaning of life. It's to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Is the whole meaning of life. Now, if you can, Parak, give me 119. Or Matzah, if you have it up. If you're right there, whoever have it. 119 and 96. You got it up? Psalms 119 and 96.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 96. I have seen an end of all perfection, but thy commandment is exceeding broad. Oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day. Thou, through thy commandments, has made me wiser than mine enemies.
Wiser than my what?
Wiser than mine enemies.
Wiser than my enemies, right? How are you supposed to live in life? You got enemies in your left, right. I'm saying in front of you and behind you. This is not a karate movie, right? I've never seen an Asian man or Ip Man. I've never seen a true Asian Ip Man that could take on 7, 8 men at once. Take on 30 men. You ever seen those Asian movies? They fight like 100 men. They took on 100 men. Or what's the other one name? What's his name again, man? He jumped on the elephant. I forgot what the name is. The brother in the school was talking about it, right? One of them Asian movies out. I've yet to see one in real life. Believe me, I'm waiting for one. If I see an Asian man could do all that they're doing on movies out, first thing I do is I try to fight him up. Why? I gotta beat him up. I'm saying Salakia. Salakia. It was just if I lose, I'm saying I lose. It's fine. I'm not worried about losing out. It's experience I want out. I gotta fight him. I gotta see it out. He that good, I gotta get a kick on him up. Something. I gotta be able to touch him. I see him saying he that good or whatever. I gotta be able to hit him with something up. Salakia. It's just in me. Like I'm saying. But I only say that to say out, man, there's no way to survive in this world. I'm saying without having the Most High protect you from your enemies.
Right.
Because not even your friends you can trust. Now, this man that I just played that video of, you know why he ended up being in prison or having to become a foreman? Because his friends gave him up. John Gotti Jr., who was John Gotti's son, gave him up. I'm saying they talking about gave all these other people up. These men who have called themselves gangsters and have done the most vicious things in the face of the earth. Take your biggest Don or your biggest Sicario or whoever it is, your biggest drug kingpin. You know what one thing they all fight for when their time of demise have come? They beg and plead, some even cry for is their life. Imagine that. The most wickedest sinner, most vilest creature all the killing he's done, all the raping that he have done, right? Mothers he have sold drugs to, people he extorted, men who was walking with their wife that he didn't grab up their wives and fill them up in front of them, like completely dehumanize that man. I'm saying that he's done all these things to. They all fight for their life when their time comes. Go ahead, bro.
So like what's heavy about what you're saying is you talking about sinners. These are cats that lived a wicked life, unrighteous life. So they don't have the wisdom of the Most High.
Right.
What's beautiful about what you just said is that they're going to beg and plead for their life when their time comes. But us, when our time comes, that's it. Like when you can ask them 7 brothers and their mother, when it was time, like the first brother that the king was trying to kill, he said, "What do you expect me to say to you? I'd rather die than to break the law of my God."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't beg for his life because he wasn't no wicked sinner. He had the law and he had the righteousness of the law. So like,
right. So what the brother's saying, so heavy. So, a wicked man like that, when their time of demise come, they beg and plead. Like I said before, some cry out. I gotten stories out, cry out, ball tears. Please, man, please. Right? You saw that movie that movie Shatters, right? When they went to go rob that man of that money, and what did the man say? Can you take the gun or he said take the drugs and leave the money. And they said take the what and left the what? Like I forget, these are wicked men crying, tied up, crying, fat, sloppy, crying out. You would think that with all they have done, they would say, you know what? All I've done, all the people I've hurt. If me dying in this way brings some peace to these people where I'll gotta be able to forgive me, man, and let it be so. But only a man with no sympathy and a wicked man will cry tears, right? And bawl for their life, knowing that all the wickedness that they have done. Only a wicked man would do something like that. Let me give you an example. We all know the story about those 2 men that was in a cross with when Christ was going to be killed. Those 2 men that was on that cross, and you had one of them that was telling the other one to shut up because he was bad-mouthing Christ. He said, "We deserve to die, but this man, he have done nothing wrong. He don't deserve to die." That saying right there saved that man's life. That saying, that small faith that man had saved his life up. because he understood something that a lot of these filthy, disgusting, wicked men do not understand. I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm not impressed. I came up around the killer. I'm not impressed by them. Family members and they're toughest and they did this and that. I'm here to tell you, I stood to my toughest. I looked them dead in the eyes and told them I wasn't impressed. I wasn't scared. I wasn't none of that with them. Family or not, I am not impressed. I am not impressed. You have a single mother with 3 children and you slap her around and you take what she had out of her house. I am not impressed. Yet so y'all run away from the nigga down the block. I'm not impressed. And not a nigga down the block will run away from the nigga on the next street. Y'all awesome hosts. Like, that's how I was speaking. I am not impressed. I was never impressed by the wicked. They didn't fear me. In fact, I felt like they should, if anything, they should fear someone like me. Because I was the one that always stand up for the ones that was battered down, I'm saying beaten down, or the one that was weak. You couldn't bully no one around me when I was coming up. So that's something I wouldn't go for. I never believed in. To wicked, I could care less. They didn't bother me none. Let it be what it's gonna be. And that's why I feel like, because the ones that are weak enough to do something like that to a single mother and her children, ones that are weak enough to sell their people drugs. One thing that I would not sit here and allow someone that weak to make me be afraid of them. Don't forget, they live off of fear. A lot of these wicked men, they live off of the fact that they have to be doing certain things in the street to have you afraid of them. So I felt like, with the fact that I wasn't afraid of them and I wanted to meet them in the middle of that street in the trenches, they should be afraid of me. Especially since I wasn't doing half the shit that they was doing. Salakia. I wasn't doing half the things that they was doing. But for me not to be doing half the things that they was doing and still willing to meet them in the field, I feel like they should be afraid of me. That's just me personally. But that's just me being me. That's just who I am. Salakia. But I only say that to say, these wicked men with no sympathy, right, and no honor, that they should not be somewhat upright standard for Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians to follow. Because all these men meet the same demise, man. Being tough is not a man that go to prison. You know what being tough is? Being tough is the brother that, when all of his brothers died, and he's taking care of the children of all his brothers that died. That's tough. I don't believe in a man that's been locked up for 20 years in that prison. You know why I don't believe in him? Let's say, I'm coming right to you, officer. Let's say we on some street gangster shit, right? This is how I look at it. You see all the ones that did 20 years in prison that come home and they're big, bad, and tough? Here's the reason why I don't believe you're that big, bad, and tough, right? Give an example. You were locked in that cage being protected by the oppressor. In that cage, you were locking hands with those same men where you're out in the streets fighting against each other. You're now coming in prison, and for survival, you guys are coming together calling truth. Because what? The Latin kings who want to jump on y'all in prison. Because the Mexican mafia want to jump on y'all in prison. Right? The Sureños, the Norteños are going to jump on y'all in prison. You know who's really tougher? Not that I'm glorifying them, but the men that have been out in the streets doing this for 10 years, running around in the streets, doing whatever they do in the streets. They're a lot more tougher than the ones that have been locked up. Because they have actually been seasoned in those streets. Whereas these men that's been locked up for all them years, like, they ain't living off a name, me personally, if we're going off of that. But no, wickedness is wickedness nonetheless. Go ahead, Alex.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
I was gonna read something now, but I ain't trying to, change the mood on.
No, go ahead.
What you're talking about. But I got precept. This book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock you. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind. And it's like, when distress
and anguish cometh upon you, then will they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. So that's it on that. But I just brought that out to to break up, to break down your point of how brothers they feed the whole situation with the man.
I was talking about before then. I was talking about men in prison. I was talking about men doing wickedness as far as a man that oppress a single mother with 3 children, a man that with an Asian man coming across the street, you're robbing the poor, you're beating up on the ones that's sick, you're taking away from the hardworking blue collar man that go to work every single day, that have a little business in the hood, and that he necessarily don't have the tough bone as you call it, so you go and pick on him. That's what I'm speaking on, those wicked men.
I was more so speaking on the part where you were talking about how these men, these wicked men, they try to
Make
fight
you
for
afraid.
fight for their life, and then I mean, Slakia, they know, right? They'll call upon the Most High. They'll call on some stronger, right, than them. And what's that telling you? That because you didn't listen to wisdom, this is what's going to happen, right? This is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a check. You're gonna get a check and a reality check. Really, what it is,
Right?
For you running the way you run it, you're gonna realize that what you doing is not the way to do it, right? You think that going, being a gangster and doing all this and that, getting some money, right, and selling and destroying your people is gonna help you. Really, it's only helping. It's only helping you for a short run. It's not gonna help though. It's not gonna eternal life.
Right.
That's what the Most High says. If you keep His law, statutes, and commandments, if you fear Him, you will get life.
Right.
But if not, then you will get what? The curse, the punishments, the judgments.
Right. And it's almost as if it only seems right that a man with no sympathy, when his time of demise have come, that he cried for his life. Right? He lives a life, he lives an unmoral life, unjust life, rape, rob, murder, every kind of wickedness. He's sleeping with men's women. He's sleeping with he's a gangster himself. He hold himself to be a gangster. He's sleeping with men. A lot of these men that are killers out in these streets, believe it or not, they sleep with men. The greatest teller is these women. These women, because here's one thing a lot of these men do. They all sit down and they talk. They like to get it off their chest and they talk to their women. And their woman is privy to certain things that find them pleasure. So they know a lot about them. And the vast majority of these brothers, you call yourself killers and they have however many bodies and all that. You hear stories about them. They're all homosexuals, because homosexuality breeds that. I'm saying that's a different topic in itself. But right, these men, it only seems fitting. These men with no morals, no honor, no empathy, that when the time of their demise, when the time of their calamity, they will cry for their life. It's only right. It's only just. I mean, it only seems fitting, right? When they were living, they had no sympathy for nobody else's life. But surely, when their life comes to an end, on the brink of coming to an end, surely they cry now and mourn to have sympathy for their own life. That's a selfish way. No different than when they're out in the streets, taking from that mother and that old man, not thinking of how these people are going to eat when you take from them. That absolutely no love for those people they were taken from, right? They were selfish in that way. Sure enough, when their life comes to an end, they go ahead and cry and mourn for their own life, which is something a selfish man would do. I'm saying, let's get another one, Knock. Is that it on that? Give me Matthew 5 and 6. In fact, give me Romans 7 and 22. Romans 7 and 22.
Book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 22.
Give me Acts if you can, bro. Acts 24 and 14.
Book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 22. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
Right. So this is Slakia. This is start from the top again for me out.
Book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 22. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
For I delight in the law of God of the inward man, right?
Come.
What does that mean? What does that mean for him to be delight in the law of the inward man? Well, what would the inward man be?
So, like, which verse would you just read?
This is Romans 7 and 22. Think about it. What's an inward man? So he said he delight in the law of God after the inward man. Go ahead, bro.
I'm trying to think of the words to describe it. Like who you really are. I don't really know how to explain it. So
is it like your conscience?
I would take. Go ahead, Salaki. Go ahead.
Like your conscience, or more so like your character, like who you are.
Con, I take that. Con, I take that out. Absolutely. That's what you were gonna say, right?
yeah.
Something. I'm saying. In this instance, the inward man would be what? Like, look at your everyday life. You cannot tell me that. All right. I'll give you an example. When you were little, how do you know it's wrong to kill your mama? Anybody taught you not to kill your mama? How do you know?
Because you have a conscience.
Yes. It's a more conscious. No one has to tell you it's wrong to kill your daddy out. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I would never lay a hand to my daddy out. What kind of disrespectful piece of shit would I be out? Think about that. Your own father out. You lay a hand on your father out? When I hear stories about men fist fighting their father and women fist fighting their mother, do you know, I had a sister tell me one time. She said, yeah, me and my mom, we're in a little bit better place now. But after, man, we were getting fist fights. I was fighting her up and beating. She was telling me as if I'm one of these niggas out in the streets. I will find that as like, man, she a bad bitch. She out there whooping bitches. I looked at her like this. And after she was done up, I stayed at her for a good 15 seconds. She's saying, what? Nervously laughing. I was like, with you telling me that story, am I supposed to be honored by that? I was like, if anything, you should be disgraceful. I was like, don't ever tell anybody else that story. That's what I said to her. Don't ever tell anybody else that story. That make you, that's dishonorable. You lay your hands on your mama, you should get your ass whooped. See, a lot of you brothers out there be playing with these sisters, man. You better check that spirit on them, because really what she was trying to do is to see what she can and can't get away with me. See what type of man I am by telling me that story. Go ahead, Parak. Slakia.
I was just gonna say, pertaining to what you was just talking about before that, right? You know that it's wrong to kill your mother or your father, just like you know it's wrong to lie. Like no matter who you are, you know when you're doing something wrong that is wrong. That's why you know it's wrong to lie. Now, of course, children do it anyway.
Right.
I'm saying adults do it anyway, but they know that when they do it, they know it's wrong. So that just goes to show, like, you know what's right and wrong inside your head.
Right.
Jeremiah 31 and 31 says that the Most High is going to put the law in our inward part.
Say, put a law in the what?
In our inward part.
That's the answer to it. That's the inward part right there. Go ahead, Parak.
I was just going to say, so that just goes to show that Like that's exactly what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We know what's right. We know what's wrong.
Right.
Even when we try to fight against it. Like,
Even when you try to fight against it, right? You know what's wrong, right? And the brother said, "You know what? Why do they have to tell you it's wrong to lie? You know it's wrong to lie. How do you know? See that feeling you get when you lie?
God.
Huh? You mean to tell me that you have men out there like you really beating your mama in your house, huh? Like you just this big bad like well you just out here like really doing it to you beating your mama in their house. Go ahead, Officer Slack.
Yeah, so like I was just gonna add, and you want to know why they feel like it's not a wrong thing is because they make an excuse after it. They have an excuse for why they do it. Oh, it's because I was raised like this. Oh, it's because this happened to me. Oh, it's because this is what I learned, or this is how I was taught.
Right.
This is how I live. This was my conditions. If why don't you take those conditions and it's wrong. Like we say, come on, you grown. You know what's wrong from right.
Right.
Right. But you use you use your weakness as an excuse.
Right.
And so that makes you now a coward. Now you don't want to change. You don't want to fight.
Right.
Now you're a slave.
Right.
So like, I don't want to take the class nowhere else.
Go ahead.
But that's why they call.
So like that.
That's why they call. That's why they call. I don't know what's going on. That's why they say when when a gay person comes out as gay, it's like coming out the closet, because even homosexuals know that they should hide that. Like they know that's not right. Like they know in their mind that it's wrong, and it's not because of society. Because society today tells you that you can do whatever you want. You can be gay and all of that. But people hold those things in and they're ashamed of it because they know in their mind that it's wrong. And they have to be convinced by society that it's right.
Right.
But that just goes to show also that you're inwardly right from wrong. So like
that's so heavy about that. Let's keep going on that too. Let's keep going on that.
So like what was you asking?
We're at 22. Romans 7 and 22.
7:22. Book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 22. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man, but I see another law in my members.
My what?
In my members.
Right? I see another law in my members. What is that members?
Oh, your flesh.
Flesh, right? So that members is flesh. Could be, depending on the context, could be what's going on in society. Your flesh is only a reflection of what's going on in society, right? What I mean by that is what feeds your flesh is what's going on in society, as far as take walking down the street, you see a woman half naked. Now your flesh is. What was I watching again? It was I touch on that Instagram, man, and they showed a video of Kevin Hart giving an award to Rihanna. And he was speaking on how TikTok or no Instagram banning Rihanna. He was upset at Instagram banning Rihanna for her being naked, her nakedness, showing her nakedness. And he was saying, "Are you kidding me? Like, what type of bull s is that?" You know what I'm saying, you're gonna ban her for showing her nakedness? Like, he's like, I pay for that, and I've seen her naked already. Meaning, he's saying that she's all over the internet naked. But he's like, and I still pay for it, right? Like, that's his members, man. I'm saying that's his flesh. You seen a woman walk down half naked. You see you somebody that struggle with alcohol. There's people that struggle with alcohol that even the smell of alcohol, truly the smell of alcohol can like draw them, you know what I'm saying? Make them go over the edge and want to drink alcohol. It's no different than watching those vampire movies when the blood is spilled and a vampire smell of blood. What do? He loses it, right? That's your member, right? That could be your member, right? So go ahead up.
And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am.
So we could hold right there. So read 23 again for me.
Verse 23. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind.
Warring against the law of my mind, and the law of his inward part, right? Go ahead.
and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin.
And bringing him into captivity to the law of sin, meaning like captivity. You take someone in captivity is force, right? You have to force them, right? Into captivity. And what these sins are doing is he's saying that they're winning. The laws of his member parts. I'm saying they're winning in so much words. He's fighting his flesh, and his flesh is winning. Go ahead,
So like I was just gonna say, like a lot of brothers know when they be eyeing these whores down, like they know, like, man, I shouldn't be looking at this naked broad. You know what I'm saying? Like you be know, like, but your flesh be like, no, I have to look, I have to stare. Knowing that's some, man, I remember, listen, man, I ain't gonna put on the front. When I was in the world, if I saw a broad that was, bad as hell, even if she had a man, I was looking. And I knew it wasn't right, because I'm like, man, that's, she got her man with it, like that woman she's wifed up already.
Right.
But I would still look because I would let my flesh take control over me.
Right.
Take control over me. I was a slave to my flesh.
Right.
It takes a lot to get over that.
It's go ahead, Monty.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
It's in the same book. The precept is in the same book, Romans. If you go to Romans,
Go ahead. Fuck it.
It's like Romans chapter 6, verse 16 says, "Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death or of obedience unto righteousness." Which is, what the brother was saying, you feel like a slave. You feel like a slave with whatever. I mean, come on, like, whether it be that or a drug addiction, you feel like you gotta have it. I mean, we were talking about this not too long ago, where brothers will die if they just completely eliminate that from their body, because their body has been so used to it, to the point where it's like you need that heroin, the heroin, that whatever, right? Whatever drug, that pill, that whatever, right? It's like your body knows that it needs it, and if you were to, remove that from you, you would die.
Right.
Slime.
Right. You know what I'm saying? It's heavy.
I was holding something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was holding.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Back in Acts 24.
Con.
The book of Acts, chapter 24, and verse 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which were written in the law and in the prophets, and have hope toward God, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and the unjust.
Both of the what?
Of the just and unjust.
What does that mean? What does it mean, the resurrection of both the just and unjust? Resurrection meaning like you gonna, so much terms, you coming back, right? Born again, as I hate to use that word, man. The rebirth, that's even worse. Reincarnation, damn, that's worse. Because the Christians, regeneration, man.
That's
It's a good one. All right, that's it. So regeneration of people, right? You coming back. So he's saying that there'd be a coming back of the what?
Of the just and unjust.
The good and the wicked, right? Good and evil, right? Why would there be a coming back of the good and evil?
Because both the just and the unjust, they gotta come back. They'll come back in the resurrection. They'll come back in the reincarnation, and they both got to get judged for their works.
They both got to get judged for their works. I'm saying. Now imagine you live in this life and you saying that, you know what? I was born to be a football player. I was born to be a track star. I was born to be a boxer. I was born to play soccer. I was born to be a sicario. I was born to be a Crip, a Blood, a Latin King. I was born to be a shower posse. You can go on and on, right? I was born to be these things. I was born to be a lawyer. I was born to be a doctor. Hell, some other, I'll more so say a doctor. I'm saying a physician. But even then, no, you weren't just born to be a physician, right? Because imagine you saying you're born to be all that, and then one day you'll be When you die, you're gonna be brought back to be judged. Are you gonna be judged on what? Of how good you did your job as a doctor? A lot of these doctors, people dying in your care, man. So if I'll say this, if you're born to be that, you are shit out of luck. A lot of people dying in y'all care. Let me just say that. A lot of people dying in y'all care. So you can't tell me that. If you're born to be a football player, I can't, man. You know all the games you've lost? Do you know all the games you've lost? Some of these guys are like 0-32. How are you 0-32? Right? Some of these basketball teams, you getting paid. I'm saying grown men out there like you, and you guys are 1-73. How? Ak? You mean to tell me everybody have a bad game? These guys are the Superman beating you. So if you're born to be that, the way you've been losing here, you shit out of luck. Because if you come back and you're getting judged off of your performance in these sports world, you're completely shit out of luck, man. We're born to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the whole meaning of life, right? Give me Ezekiel again. That's my last one. Ecclesiastes. Slack. I keep saying Ezekiel. We can go back to Ecclesiastes, right? 12 and 13. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. You got it up, right?
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
The whole conclusion of this class, right, is this. The whole conclusion of life, the whole conclusion that Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians have been brought upon this world to do, and to preserve our life doing, preserve the life of our people and our bloodline, because everybody hates us. The whole conclusion of our life, of this life, is what? Go ahead.
Fear God.
Fear the Most High.
Right.
Fear the Most High. What's fear? What's fear, Matazai?
Fear is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes, but give
Or slack.
Obedience.
right? To fear something means you do what? What happens when you fear something?
Listen.
You're a slave to that thing you fear, huh?
Yeah.
Right? Truthfully, when you fear something, you're that slave to that thing you fear. If I'm lying, ask that woman that's been have Stockholm syndrome, that are those women that one man had in his basement for like 10 years. So there were 16, 15-year-old girls. Now they're 25, 26-year-old when they were found. Ask them what fear can do to you, because they live right there underneath the basement the whole time. You mean to tell me you're just not fighting? You couldn't? What is going on? All this time you didn't fight to free yourself, scream, do something? For years they've been living down there. Fear. Fear is the reason why a lot of us won't make it to the kingdom of heaven. We fear America. We fear the standard of not celebrating Christmas, not celebrating Thanksgiving. You cannot tell me the man that don't celebrate Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day, rather. You cannot tell me the man that celebrating Valentine's Day, he's celebrating Valentine's Day because he truly wants to. What's the value a man get from Valentine's Day? You can't tell me some box, because that same box that he's getting, he been getting a whole year. He been getting the same box. Fear is the reason why he celebrates Valentine's Day. Fear is the reason why we do these things, man. Why we're afraid to break these traditions that our ancestors have kept, as far as eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Fear is the reason why we would not throw away Christmas. Right? Fear the Most High. Fear God. Why? Because God can kill you in your flesh. God can make you be born into a pedophile family. God can and put everyone around you to death and have you live a long life suffering. God can have you as a 6 or 8-year-old, you playing with a gun and accidentally killed your own mother. You live with that pain for the rest of your life. God can do these things to you. God can have you being born special needs. Everyone use and abuse your whole life. Fear the Most High, right? Go ahead, Parag.
And keep his commandments.
And keep his commandments, man. Keep his laws. That is the conclusion of the whole matter. That is what we've been born for, man. That's what we've been brought up on this earth to do. That is what the men in the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana has been tasked to do. We cannot live in our fear in the ISUPK. You must go out and pass out these flyers. You must go out and hold camp. In the ISUPK, we challenge your bravery and your obedience to the Most High. We challenge you in here. And once again, with ISUPK coming on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I'm Officer Apayat, IE in Arizona. We got classes from Tuesday to Friday, right? From 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We got classes from Saturday at 10 a.m. to noon. That's a Sabbath service. You definitely want to come out and get in class. When that, I pass the class to Priest and Officer Matazal.
The ISUPK security announcements. Where the ISUPK start at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. And you can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Also in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Ma'ashra means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest funds for priest. Free will offering for priest, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like of holy convocation is
The next one would be Purim. It's like a February.
Also too, if you ever wondering when the next holy convocation is, you could look up ISUPK.com, right, where we have all the feast days and all the upcoming events, right? So look us up. All right. Also, if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, we're gonna do one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Major. Men of Israel, Major Shabbat, Major Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Yadi Matah, class dismissed.